Spark Books here. Today, I'm going to explain the book, Words Like Loaded Pistols, by Sam Leith. Take care, enjoy the book, and have a nice day. Words Like Loaded Pistols 2012 is a guide to identifying rhetoric and using it to your advantage. These sparks use historical, contemporary, and everyday examples to show how rhetoric is a part of everything we do, which is why it's such an essential topic to examine. Key idea number 1. Everyone employs rhetoric. We all use rhetoric every day, whether it's your pretentious college roommate's major or politician's nonsense. Rhetoric is the art of persuasion through writing or speech. As much as we might attempt to reject it as archaic, stuck up, or even dishonest, rhetoric affects the tone of this statement and why you speak differently to your best friend and a job interviewer. How frequently do you speak without impacting someone? Words are used to communicate, thus it's hard to avoid. All information, emotional, scientific, or factual, affects your thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. Even while political jargon is unavoidable, the phrase is typically derogatory today. Obama's critics have called him a talker. They think he's mostly talk. Republican Phyllis Schlafly commended Sarah Palin as a lady who worked with her hands. Naturally, Palin influences her audience in every address. She utilizes rhetoric. Even rhetoric critics use it regularly, because accusing someone of smooth-talking swindlers needs slick words. Get it? Is a rhetorical question. Key idea number 2. History and humanity require rhetoric. Language developed humanity. Thus rhetoric should be found everywhere humans are. Rhetoric has shaped Western civilization, both positively and negatively. Because laws are only legally empowered words, democratic governments need speech and discussion to work. Words have also been used for peaceful resistance. Jesus was executed for speaking quietly, even though he never endangered the emperor. Martin Luther King, Jr.'s peaceful work is similar. Totalitarian regimes employ propaganda to control their people. Hitler used rhetoric to persuade an unhappy population to follow him. Rhetoric can be used for many purposes, but it can also reveal people's desires and methods. Rhetoric helps people achieve their goals. A politician who wants the military to have more power may speak passionately about protecting loved ones and fighting bad individuals. This means that the better you grasp rhetoric, the better you can identify what people want and how they're using you to attain their aims. Recognizing these intents lets you manipulate power. Rhetoric was historically powerful. Shakespeare's liberal arts education required it. In rhetoric, Aristotle dissected and explored the concept generations ago. His rhetorical theory is next. Key idea number 3. Your argument and proof are the foundation of good eloquence. Aristotle divided rhetoric into 5 parts, starting with invention, thinking about what you can say about a topic. Invention is when you define your point and choose which arguments and assertions will support it. This crowning evidence has many approaches, so choose the one that fits your audience. To do so, analyze their life philosophies, prejudices, and demographics. Say you want to persuade different audiences to use your innovative dispute resolution method. Your method should be emphasized to managers. However, HR professionals may prefer to discuss how the system fosters fairness and respect. Now that you know your argument and how to prove it, employ the 3 types of persuasion to win. Ethos is the speaker's authority and self-presentation. John F. Kennedy used ethos when he proclaimed Ich bin ein Berliner to his German audience. Logos, the second mode, appeals to reason and truth. However, these facts are distinctive to a culture and area, so using logic that's recognizable to your audience is key to persuasion. In many past cultures, the idea that men and women should be equal would have been unthinkable. Finally, pathos appeals to emotion. A snapshot of an attractive, sad, sick puppy may raise more money for an animal shelter than statistics on animal mistreatment. Aristotle's 5-part framework again. Key idea number 4. Aristotle's second step to good rhetoric is organizing your ideas. Structure makes good rhetoric. Your argument will be most convincing if you can lead your audience through a well-planned rhetorical path that highlights its strengths and downplays its faults. After all, irrelevant and boring digressions hurt course assessments. Thus, You can use a 6-part tale structure to communicate your point. The opening establishes your ethos, grabs attention, and builds trust. Second, you give a rather objective than generic overview in narrative. Division follows. You compare your argument to your opponent's here. Fourth, your evidence. This section need logos and rationale. Fifth is refutation, when you anticipate and counter your opponent's arguments. Last, the finale. Pathos can help you make your message and leave a lasting impact. These are general norms, not absolutes, so use your judgment to decide when to add or remove elements. If you're the best man at a friend's wedding, your speech doesn't need to refute opposing ideas. You can't disregard structure. A well-structured argument, whether written or spoken, is crucial. Key idea number 5, style, memorization, and delivery complete Aristotle's 5-part structure. Thus, your words matter, but not everything. Arguing style is important too. Style greatly affects persuasion. As always, good style requires audience knowledge. Knowing their response is crucial. It may have Shakespeare's soaring, fluent style, but it's unlikely. Modern culture has obviously rejected the blatantly rhetorical. People no longer trust individuals who employ flowery and incomprehensible phrases. Plain, sincere, and unshowy language is more likely to persuade. Remember, this stripped-down technique is still rhetoric and requires work, not innate skill. President Obama, a superb orator and writer, can mix high and low styles in his speech. Switching between short, quick statements and larger, more intricate ones will spice up your discourse without sounding pompous. Memorization and delivery complete your plan. 2 actors with the same lines might affect audiences differently. One may stumble and forget her lines, while the other delivers them like her own. Memorization and delivery improve rhetoric. Unfortunately, many people find rhetoric's last phases most distressing and frightening. Stage fright and memory loss can result from memorizing and delivery stress. It's inevitable. Practice until you remember everything. That's how to persuade. Key idea number 6, political and judicial uses dominate rhetorical oratory. Toe store. A child begs his parents for a costly toe. Political discourse exemplifies this predicament. Here's how. Political rhetoric encourages action. Political speech usually tries to persuade audiences that the intended action is ethically right, beneficial, or both. If his parents purchase him the $100 plastic lightsaber, the child may swear to behave good. He may even argue that all his pals have won to restore world fairness. Politicians also seek support and votes. Politics isn't the only popular rhetoric. Judicial or forensic rhetoric is justice-related courtroom debate. It examines history to prove a point. This anecdote then proves guilt or innocence. Both oratory styles often coexist. Look at Bill Clinton's Monica Lewinsky statements. He used judicial jargon by looking to the past to prove that he had never had sexual relations with a young woman, but his reasons were political because he wanted to persuade the public not to impeach him. Next time you read a complicated speech or article, try to understand the author's point. You'll be a smart news consumer and communicator if you can spot it. To communicate well, you must understand rhetoric, which is everywhere. Aristotle advised mastering tone, organization, word choice, and delivery in written and spoken discourse.
To view more content like this, subscribe. Don't forget to like and turn on notifications. The channel really benefits from it. I appreciate you being here.